took place. The movie opens with a narration from the first living emotion inside the mind of Riley Anderson, Joy, who explains that when Riley was born, it was originally just the two of them. But eventually more emotions would join what she calls headquarters, and with those emotions being sadness, fear, disgust, and anger, who together help control Riley's mind. Also within headquarters, we learn that each of Riley's memories are actually kept in glass spheres called memory orbs, with the most important of them labeled core memories, which each power a different aspect of Riley's personality. These traits are represented as islands of personality, including Hockey Island, Goofball Island, Friendship Island, Honesty Island, and Family Island. In the present day, Riley's now 11, living in Minnesota, where she's lived all her life, but much to her disappointment, she and her family are soon planning on moving to San Francisco, as her dad's recently started a new business there. Upon arriving at their new home, Riley's disappointment is compounded due to both the house not being quite as nice as she'd hoped, and that their moving van and all their stuff was accidentally sent to Texas. Still, Joy's able to help Riley find happiness through a game of hockey with her parents and a crumpled up piece of paper, although not for very long, as her father's soon called away for work. In the meantime, Riley spends some time with her mom, and the two share their fondest memories from the trip, with Riley's, as chosen by Joy, being when her dad was trying to take a picture of her and her mom, but accidentally let the car roll into a dinosaur statue. Although while this memory's happy at first, it soon turns sad as a result of sadness touching its glass sphere. Frustrating and confusing Joy, since memories aren't supposed to change emotion. And so, she tells her not to touch any more memories, and to distract her, has her read the mind manuals. Moving ahead to the next day now, and to Riley's first day at her new school, where her teacher has her introduce herself in front of the class and asks her about Minnesota. So Joy displays the memories of her life there, and Riley shares them happily. But again, sadness decides to touch another memory, which in turn causes Riley to begin crying in front of the class, creating a new, sad core memory. Joy, believing Riley shouldn't have a sad core memory, attempts to dispose of it through the vacuum tube that would send it to the mind world. But sadness believes the opposite, causing a struggle between the two that results in all the core memories being knocked out of their container, in turn causing all of Riley's personality islands to shut down, and for a happy core memory to be nearly sent up the vacuum tube, until Joy manages to snatch it. This is ultimately for naught though, as all of Riley's core memories end up being sent up the vacuum and over to the mind world anyway, along with Joy herself in sadness, leaving anger, fear, and disgust to take care of Riley alone. Joy and Sadness attempt to make it back by walking across the connector between Goofball Island and headquarters, but suddenly, Goofball Island collapses and falls down into the memory dump to be forgotten forever. As in the real world, anger, fear, and disgust were unable to replicate Joy's happy ways, and ended up getting Riley sent to her room by her father, who they later ignore when he tries to be playful with and apologize to her. So with seemingly no other way back to headquarters, Joy and Sadness attempt to make it back through long-term memory, an endless warren of corridors and shelves containing all of Riley's memories, with Sadness leading the way due to the knowledge she'd learned when reading the mind manuals. Although not literally, as Joy is forced to drag a too sad to move Sadness along the way. During their search, they also encounter two mind workers in the midst of sending Riley's faded memories into the memory dump, which Joy, upon noticing good memories within them, tries to prevent, but they explain that when Riley no longer cares about a memory, it fades. Back in the real world, Riley is on a video call with her friend Meg from Minnesota, who tells her about life there since she's left, such as their recent playoff win and how they might have a chance of going to the finals, in addition to revealing they've gained a new team member. All of which infuriates Anger, who has Riley abruptly end the call, which in turn causes Friendship Island to collapse just as Goofball Island did before. And Joy's again left witnessing its collapse from afar. Shortly thereafter, Joy notices someone in the distance, and it's revealed to be Riley's old imaginary friend from when she was 3, Bing Bong, who'd found himself lost here after being mostly forgotten by Riley. And so Joy tells him that once they get back to headquarters, she'll make Riley remember him. So Bing Bong joins them on their journey and helps guide them to the fastest way back to headquarters, the Train of Thought, stationed in Imagination Land. Although to get there, they'd either have to go around the corridors or head into what Bing Bong calls a shortcut. But Sadness explains she'd read about this so-called shortcut, learning its abstract thought. Still, Joy insists they need to make it back to headquarters as soon as possible so Riley can be happy again. So they follow Bing Bong through it. About halfway through though, 2 mind workers turn on the machine, causing the trio to begin abstracting through 4 stages, with those being non-objective, fragmentation, deconstruction, two-dimensional, and non-figurative. But luckily, they're able to make it out before being turned into nothing but shape and color. Unfortunately though, this process causes them to miss their train. So while waiting for the next one, Bing Bong shows them around Imagination Land, which consists of many imaginary places, such as French Fry Forest, Trophy Town, Cloud Town, the House of Cards, and Riley's imaginary Canadian boyfriend. I would die for Riley. Here we also see Bing Bong's rainbow rocket powered by his theme song, which he says he'll use to send Riley to the moon once they're reunited. Speaking of Riley, we see that she's currently attending hockey tryouts, which unfortunately go horribly, as without her core memories or joy, she loses her ability to play, leading to anger having Riley throw her stick on the ice and exit in a huff, resulting in yet another of her personality islands collapsing, this time being Hockey Island. Following the collapse of Hockey Island, Joy, Sadness, and Bing Bong realize that many places throughout Imagination Land are being taken down and sent down to the memory dump, which sadly includes Bing Bong's rocket, leaving him crushed and hopeless. Joy attempts to cheer him up, but fails, leading Sadness to give it a try instead, listening as he opens up about all the happy memories he'd had with Riley and giving him a shoulder to cry on. They then continue their journey to, and eventually finally make it onto the train of thought, but the train suddenly stops due to Riley falling asleep in the real world. So in order to wake her up, the trio decides to head into Dream Productions, where Joy plans on sneaking into her dream and having them excite her awake. Sadness, though, believes the best way to wake her up would be to scare her awake, but Joy insists she can't let Riley feel anything but happiness. They eventually make it into her dream, but are unable to awaken her with excitement, although they are nearly able to do so when the dog costume Joy and Sadness are wearing tears in half, leaving it to seem as though the dog is chasing its severed rear. But before they can wake her, security arrives and has them all sent down to the subconscious, where they keep Riley's darkest fears. One of these fears is a giant clown named Jangles, who they have crash her dream, successfully waking her up and allowing them to get back on the train. Meanwhile, back at headquarters, Anger has lost all patience and decides to use an idea bulb to give Riley the idea of running away back to Minnesota, where she'll be able to make new happy memories once again. However, Riley, in order to do this, has to buy a bus ticket. So with no money herself, she steals some from her mom's purse. Regrettably, this betrayal of her mother's trust causes Honesty Island to collapse. And while collapsing, it also crashes into the train of thought, sending Joy, Sadness, and Bing Bong back down to the surface. Joy is perplexed as to why the islands keep crumbling, but soon realizes why upon learning Riley's running away, which we see has also begun causing Family Island to crumble as well. So Joy hastily makes an attempt to return to headquarters in order to fix everything, and fortunately notices in the distance a recall tube sending memories there. So they make their way to and try to climb inside it together. But Sadness again nearly turns the happy core memory sad, leading Joy, proclaiming Riley has to be happy, to leave Sadness behind. However, the crumbling of the island causes the tube to break and sends Joy falling all the way down into the memory dump, along with Bing Bong, who'd fallen along with the debris. With all hope seemingly lost, Joy cries while looking through some of Riley's faded memories. And in her sorrow, a tear drops onto one of Riley's memories, which, while wiping her tear off of it, she inadvertently reverses, revealing that moments before Riley was laughing and having fun with her parents and the team, she was sad sitting alone in a tree, bringing Joy to the realization that Riley needed to be sad in order for people to know she needed them, and with them be able to find joy from their comfort. Now, with a better understanding of Sadness's role in Riley's life, Joy rushes to find a way out of the memory dome, within which she finds Bing Bong's rocket once again. So she and Bing Bong attempt to power it and ride it back to the surface using his salt. But sadly, they can't quite make it out. Still, they try again and again, but fail each time, all while Bing Bong begins to slowly fade away. And so, upon noticing his gradual disappearance, he gives it one last attempt, singing alongside Joy as they fly higher and higher. But this time, as they approach the top, he encourages her to sing louder as he leaps out of the rocket, which works in getting her back to the surface. Joy immediately looks to celebrate their combined efforts with Bing Bong, unaware he jumped out mid-flight, but she's only able to witness from above as he cheers her on in celebration, and encourages her to go save Riley as he slowly fades away. Back in headquarters, anger, fear, and disgust, with nearly all of Riley's personal islands destroyed, begin to regret their decisions, and so go to remove the idea bulb from the console. But they find themselves unable to, and they also soon realize that they're unable to make Riley feel anything, as the console begins to turn dark. Joy, meanwhile, soon ends up coming across Sadness, who's now convinced Riley would be better off without her, and so she runs away, flying off on a cloud above Family Island. But but Joy refuses to leave her behind again, and so creates a bunch of imaginary boyfriends and uses them to make a path to the island just before it crumbles, where she springs on a trampoline, grabs Sadness out of the air, and flies with her straight into headquarters window. With Joy finally making her long-awaited return, anger, fear, and disgust tell her she must fix what they've done. But Joy instead leaves it in the hands of Sadness, believing she's what Riley needs right now. So Sadness removes the idea from her head and eventually takes her back home where she's met by her mom and dad, to whom, after Joy hands Sadness all of Riley's core memories, turning them blue, Riley's able to express the sadness over how she misses her life in Minnesota, which in turn allows her parents to comfort and reminisce with her over their own memories from Minnesota, before the three embrace in a tearful hug. Joy then presents Sadness with the sad core memory from earlier, but Sadness chooses to instead press a button together with Joy and create a both yellow and blue core memory that causes Riley, while crying in her parents' arms, to let out a slight smile. While this new memory also creates a new family island, resembling the original but now with various San Francisco landmarks such as the Golden Gate Bridge. We then meet back with the team a year later and see that the original islands have been restored as well, along with some new ones as Riley's matured, such as Tragic Vampire Romance Island, Fashion Island, and Boy Band Island. The emotions are also given a new console, allowing them to work together at once as a team, although it does include a puberty button that leaves them puzzled. Riley, meanwhile, is back to playing hockey once again, with her parents cheering her on in the crowd. Although, as she heads out onto the ice, Riley accidentally bumps into and knocks a water bottle out of the hands of a boy around her age, who completely freezes up as she attempts to hand it back to him. And we see that in his mind, his emotions are going wild over him interacting with a girl. So she just places the bottle in his hand and enters the game. And the movie ends with her emotions working together to help Riley play. And that was our recap of Inside Out. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful in any way, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel.